So we're joined from Tupelo, Mississippi, by Dr. John Crutchfield, the owner of Grab the Map Education. I meant to say I don't know if I gave you your proper credentials. Dr. John Crutchfield has 3 degrees. We thank you so much for joining us. This is our entrepreneurship class here at Velma Jackson High School. I've got a room full here with me now, and we're recording this for all of our friends in Madison County Schools, Madison Central, Ridgeland High School, Germantown High School, the Academic Options Center, and our YouTube channel. So I will let you take it away.
All right, well, good deal. Can you like pan around for me to see who you got in there? I hate.
I can't put them on camera.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, look, it's 2024, y'all. Look, I was a teacher at a different time. All right, well, I am sharing a presentation, and hopefully you all can see my screen. Can they see a screen
Yep,
or not really?
we see it.
Okay. All right, perfect. So I'm John Crutchfield, and I thought I would share my story as a way of talking about how careers can change. It's pretty cool that you all have a entrepreneur class because we didn't have that either at my school. In fact, as I tell you my story, I'll tell you this. I was in education for a total of 10 years, teacher, principal, all that good stuff. And I never told a kid that they could be an entrepreneur. Like that was never something that came up. In fact, entrepreneurs were the risk takers. That's risky, right? I told them that, hey, you shouldn't do that because you could go broke, right? You could go bankrupt. And all of that's true, by the way, but there are certainly benefits that we could talk about today. So let's talk about this question, right? Have you all heard this question? Like, what do you want to be when you grow up? What are the common answers? Um, what are the common answers that you all get? Like, what are the good answers to this question? That's
Well, I can
that's
tell you
really
just from the ones I know in this room. I know we have one really interested in IT. We have another one really interested in trucking. We have one that wants to get into mental health. So we have a variety of dreams here with us today.
perfect. Well, I can think back to when this question was asked as I was growing up, especially when you get to high school, right? It starts to get more serious because like you're gonna be out of your house soon. You're gonna have to pay your own bills soon. You're gonna have responsibilities. So the question gets more serious as you get older, right? When you're little, I think for me it was like policeman. Maybe I wanted to be a doctor, firefighter, right? Like all the superheroes that I saw in everyday life is what I wanted to be. As I got older, I wanted to travel a little bit. So I was like, well, maybe I want to be a journalist, maybe I want to be a teacher or a lawyer, a doctor. And it was because these are the professions that were highly regarded, right? Like these people make good money, or teachers, right? Teachers, they get off for the summer, right? Great. They're off for the summer or they're off at Christmas time. That was what I thought, right? We get all this time off. But this question right here changes over time. Okay. And in today's world, more than ever, because we have so much access and internet and we have social media, we can see what everybody's doing. This changes way more frequently than it changed for my parents, generations before me. My dad actually retired this year. He's an accountant for Florida State, and
Wow.
he's worked at Florida State for 31 years.
Dang.
Okay. That's very rare that that happens anymore, right? So, as you think about what I talk about, I'm sure you all are thinking about this question. You're in this entrepreneurship class. I want you to keep in mind that careers can change over time. So, I grew up in Tallahassee, Florida. Okay. Just to tell you all a little bit about me, I'm a Florida State grad. We're the Seminoles. If you're a college football fan, I am a deep college football fan of the Florida State Seminoles. That means that I'm not a fan of the Florida Gators by any stretch of imagination. But that's where I grew up. My parents still live in Tallahassee. That's, kind of a college town. There's two universities there. You've got Florida A&M University, FAMU, the Rattlers. That's at HBCU. And then you got Florida State, which is the larger state university. Tallahassee also happens to be the capital city. And pretty much all to do in Tallahassee is college related stuff. Okay. So it's not this huge town, it's colleges and the capital city, the government buildings. Okay. At 16, I got my first job and I worked in the mall. Anybody working in the mall? Can you tell me like grade levels? Is this
I
grade
have
level?
I have sophomores and seniors with me today.
Okay. So somebody's in there got a job. So somebody in
Yeah,
there
we have
probably
one
has
that works at Raising Cane's.
Okay, so they understand fast food. Okay, so we got Cookie Company. That's like in the mall. I think y'all might have like Great American Cookies or
Oh yeah, big time.
something like that. That's what I did. And the best thing about working at the cookie company was that I got to take home the leftover cookies at the end of the day. It's the best and worst thing when you eat cookies every day. Okay. But that was my first job, and that gave me experience with customer service. That gave me experience with having to show up on time. And this is why I suggest that entrepreneurs, it's okay to have a job first, right? A
Yep.
lot of people want to be entrepreneurs and they don't have the skills yet that are needed to be effective entrepreneurs. So skills like showing up on time, leaving at a certain time, not taking excessive breaks, right? Having deadlines for when you have to get stuff done, accounting. These are things that can help. You can be helped by if you have a job first, right? Obviously, you don't have to, but these can be helped by that so that you can learn some of these skills and take them into your business. I started working remote when remote was not a thing, right? I took this job taking phone calls for Apple on the phone. And this was a company that would allow you to work from home at a time when this was new, y'all. I feel old saying
Yeah.
this. But they actually sent us an Apple computer in the mail, and I had to get on this Apple computer and make phone calls or take phone calls from people who wanted to order products from Apple's website. Okay.
Wow.
This was a at-home job, but I was also again getting some of the soft skills that were needed, right? And this is why I was in college, like getting some of the soft skills needed to be able to talk to people. Because as an entrepreneur, like the more people you talk to, the more business you're going to get. And
There
so
you
many
go.
people are afraid to talk to people. So if you're really nervous about talking to people or you're really, nervous about meeting new people, I will give you the secret right here on this call today. You heard it for the first time in 10th grade or 12th grade. Just talk to people, right? If you see new people that you've never met, today, y'all have the best tool in the world. Just go on Chat GPT and ask it like, hey, what are some questions that I can ask someone new to start a conversation? Right. And just start using those questions with random strangers. Obviously, be appropriate. Don't put yourself at safety risk, but start talking to people that you don't know. And the more people you talk to, the better you'll get at it. And you'll find that people often give away things that can help start conversations in what they're wearing or what they're driving or what they look like. This is my first time meeting Greg, but I see that he has a Saints shirt on, right? And I'm a Saints fan. If I wasn't a Saints fan, I might be a Cowboys fan. And I could just be like, hey, we're playing this weekend and
Yep.
I hope you lose. I think the Cowboys say, we them boys, right? We them boys.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that was college. Okay. So I worked while I was at Florida State full time. I always have worked since I was in high school. I just always had a job as I was going through school. Okay. I think it's a good thing to have multiple things going on, kept me out of trouble without having too much free time. After I went to Florida State, I got a bachelor's degree in education. And then I started teaching. Okay. And while I was a teacher, I ended up teaching middle school math. I taught social studies. I ended up wanting to become a principal. So I went back to school, and there was this university called the University of Texas at Arlington that had an
Mavericks.
online, yeah, the Mavs. The school is totally online. So I never even went to
Wow.
class. I never even went to graduation. They just mailed me my diploma, right?
Wow.
So this was an option for me to do while I was a full-time teacher, in order to get my master's in leadership and policy so that I could become a principal of school. Okay. So notice that, okay, at first I'm like working an entry-level job in customer service. And then I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll be a teacher. Now, at the beginning, I told you I had thought about being a journalist, a fireman, a policeman. This stuff changes. Okay. Careers change. And the path I went down eventually was the path of becoming a teacher, principal. And again, I really was like, well, they're always going to need teachers. I'm not going to have to worry about getting fired. They're always going to need teachers, right? That was my thought. And summer's off. That's the key, right? So that was the thought. So then I became a school principal, okay, right in Memphis, Tennessee. Memphis, Tennessee has a school called Humes Middle School. It's where Elvis went to school. And I was a principal for a while. I found another university where I could get an online doctorate degree. Okay. So I ended up going to the University of Louisiana Monroe to get my doctorate in curriculum and instruction. This is something that I thought would help me in being able to help teachers teach better, right? Help teachers develop the curriculum for your class, come up with good ideas like entrepreneurship classes in high school. So ended up doing that. And when I kind of got to a point being a principal where I had kids of my own and I had a wife telling me, hey, you're spending way too much time at the school, I started looking for ways that I could make money that wasn't related to a job. Okay. So at some point, this will click. If you are in this class, hopefully this clicks for you early. Because if I had had the class y'all are in, my pathway probably would have been different. Y'all, I was an entrepreneur in high school. Is anybody in that room like getting in trouble for selling candy or selling CDs out of your backpack? That was
No.
me. Don't do it. Don't do it. Greg's like,
We had a
do
couple
it.
confess. We had a couple confess to it, but I'm not going to turn them in.
Hey, y'all, that was me. That was me. And my son has the bug. My son is 12 years old, and my son has like a Square account where he will take Square payments for cleaning people's shoes, or like he brings people's shoes home and does stuff to them. I don't know what he's doing. But he has the bug. So some people get the bug earlier than others. I didn't get it until I was already through with 3 college degrees and 10 years in education. Okay. But what was cool is I took a job as a professor of education at Ole Miss. And what happened is I started having more free time. And I started trying to figure out how can I make money without getting a second job, right? How can I make money without having to go work somewhere where I'm going to have to put more time in? And that's where the entrepreneurship part of this kind of began. Great way to discover new things that you might be interested in as an entrepreneur. If you don't listen to podcasts, Apple has a great podcast app. If you're not an Apple person, Android people in the room, there's this great app called Spotify where you can find podcasts to listen to. And you can just listen to entrepreneurs sharing their journey and sharing their stories about all kinds of different industries, right? I am a real estate entrepreneur. So we'll talk about what that is in a minute. But you might decide that you want to be an entrepreneur in other areas. You might want to own a business. I heard trucking, all of these different pathways. I guarantee you there's a podcast with somebody who owns that type of business, and they're just talking about their business. They might interview people. They might have guests on their show to talk about entrepreneurship. And I would drive to work every day listening to these people talk about real estate, right? Talk about owning properties, renting out properties, flipping properties, investing in properties. And I kind of got hooked on the idea that every month, instead of me just having bills, I could be somebody's bill. I actually think that's my favorite part about being an entrepreneur. I think that's my favorite part. Is that instead of me just having bills on the first of the month, I'm somebody else's bill, right? And I think if we taught this in school, Y'all are getting this, and not everybody's taking your class. I guarantee not everybody at your high school is taking this class. If you all can figure this out early, that you can be somebody's bill, then you'll always have income coming to you, and you're not just responsible for sending it out. So many people get caught with only having bills where they have to send money out, but you can be caught having bills where you also have people sending you income, okay? Not only that, but entrepreneurs are extremely important in the community. A lot of times we're charitable, we can be charitable. A lot of times we think outside of the box. Anybody in the room think outside of the box? Like y'all are not cookie cutter, like sit in the row type people. You know who I'm talking about if that's you. You know, if you're the kid who doesn't like sitting in the row and you don't like following the rules exactly, I'm not telling you to break Greg's rules, okay? But you're probably an entrepreneur. That's probably you, right? If you're willing to go above and beyond, if you're willing to get really passionate about something, you could be an entrepreneur. So, point of the presentation is that careers change, right? And the decisions you make should be growing you as a person and a professional, okay? You will probably not figure it all out right now. You probably won't figure it all out, okay? It is okay if you're not sure what path to go down. Y'all, I just showed y'all, I have a doctorate degree in education. And today, what I do has nothing to do with education. I went to school for 10 years. People call me Dr. Crutchfield. And today, when I walk in a room, most people just say, hey, John. Right? And that changes as you grow as a person and as a professional. So point number 2, you're not stuck with the decision that you make. If today more than ever, I will tell y'all this, and I keep calling myself old. I'm only 38. Okay. Am I old? Are they shaking their head? Am I old?
Yeah,
Oh,
I am
shoot.
too.
I'm old now. Okay. Well, I will tell y'all this. When I was 20 or 18, there was no such thing as YouTube. It didn't exist. Okay. So there's definitely no Instagram. That wasn't a thing. So you all exist at a time where you can be connected to information and education at a level that was never possible for us growing up. And that is an extreme advantage. So if you decide that you need to change or you want to try something different, you can do it easier than ever. A Google search away, a YouTube search away, an Instagram search away, podcast away, a book away. Did y'all know? Y'all should Google this. How many books are being published to Amazon every single day now? I have a book on Amazon, right? I'm a regular guy. So you can have a book published to Amazon, get your story out, get your information out, and lots of people are doing this for you to read and help you decide what pathway you want to go down. Lastly, as I talk about this careers change, oftentimes things will happen to you in your life that cause progress and you don't expect it to happen. Okay. Case in point, for me, I got married. I didn't mention that in this story, but I got married when I was 19 years old. Okay. I met my wife my senior year in high school. My parents told us, somebody's going to resonate. My parents told us, hey, y'all need to break that up. Y'all getting too close. It's taking too long. Anybody know what I'm talking about? And instead of breaking it up, I just told her, hey, let's go get married. And that's what we did. And 20 years later, we're still married.
Wow.
So marrying my wife changed a lot of stuff I was doing in school. It kept me out of trouble because I was married. When the boys was like, hey, let's go do this, I was like, well, I got somebody I got to go home to, right? But also, my wife ended up being a go-getter herself. So as she got more schooling, guess what I did? I got more schooling. As she got a better job, I got a better job. So the choices that you make often will cause progress you don't expect, right? If you meet somebody, she was from Louisiana, I was from Florida. I guarantee you all today, if I had not met her, I would still be living in Tallahassee, Florida today. But because I married somebody from a different state and started traveling between states, I was like, oh, I could see myself living somewhere else. So oftentimes things will happen to you. Just let it, y'all, come on, let it happen. Enjoy your life. Um, and accept these things as they come, because oftentimes they will cause progress, cause you to think bigger as you meet new people. It causes you to think differently about the world, and hopefully impact your journey as an entrepreneur. So I know I was talking for a while here. Hopefully this helps. You all have my information here. I don't know if you're allowed to contact me, so don't if you're not.
Yeah, they can on social media.
Okay, so
Yeah,
that's my
we have people
social
get
media.
followed all the time.
Yes, that's my company. My company's in Tupelo. Um, I think y'all have some cards, so we'll have some cards.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it where I'm trying to figure out this new.
I can stop sharing too.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure that out. I knew how to do it on the old one. But yeah, I think it's cool. You said a lot of the same things I say, and I love when that happens because every month we do a presentation in here about other entrepreneurs, and I tell them from the jump, this isn't to be mean or to make you nervous, but in order to be successful in business, oh, in order to be successful in business, you've got to be able to talk. And I'm so glad you mentioned that because even if you don't want to be an entrepreneur, you've got to have those verbal and communication skills where it comes to sales, but especially if you're going to be in business for yourself.
Absolutely. It has to, we have to have communication skills.
Now,
Absolutely.
now before I get to their questions, I did want to hit on one thing, because obviously we hear people say all the time how they want to get into real estate. I want to flip houses. I want to do this, that, and the third with real estate. So, kind of tell us on why you got into that particular area because it's not just a magic trick to get into.
Yeah, so I will tell y'all that I got into real estate because I started wanting to think about ways to make money on the side of my job that I didn't necessarily have to go clock in for. Okay. If you start looking this stuff up, you'll run across stuff that says you want to make passive income, right? You want to have income on the side that's not your full-time job income. So instead of me having to go work for $200 for the day, okay, now let me see if I can make $200 in rent from people paying me on a monthly basis. So that's what got me thinking about it. Was I started Googling how to make money without having a job or how to make passive income. And you'll see all kinds of stuff that you could try. Real estate seemed to be the one that was the most tangible to me, just because I had owned a personal house with my wife, and we had moved and rented it out to somebody because we couldn't afford 2 mortgage payments, right? So we had just kind of already started that. I just didn't think about it as a business until later on. Um, so real estate kind of was a means to the monthly residual income. I flip houses now because I realized that $200 a month when you're trying to run a business is not a lot of money. So now we also flip homes to create some, bigger chunks of money to help pay for all of the expenses to having rental properties.
Absolutely. Well, that answered a lot of my questions too. But I'll get to many of these questions as I can. This first one's Destiny Smith. She's a senior, and she asked, "What is something you wish more people knew about real estate?"
Yeah. So the biggest thing I think most people should know about real estate is that it's a way to create sums of money that you're never going to hear about in a regular class that's not an entrepreneur class. Okay. People will tell you, hey, get a good job, go make $100,000 a year working, working as a doctor. Let's use that as an example. That might be a little bit low for a doctor. Okay. But if I told you that if you bought a house that needed to be repaired and you fixed the house up, you might make $100,000 for one house. You might be like, well, I might be able to do 10 houses in a year, right? So I think most people should really know that real estate offers the potential to make more money than you ever could working a job. Okay. It's not always about money either. Real estate also offers the potential for you to improve your community and improve what things look like around you. Okay. So whether you're thinking about flipping houses or thinking about helping people sell properties or thinking about development and building things, just look around. Like you're in real estate right now. Your school is a real estate investment, right? Your drive all the time, you see real estate investments all around you, and you could be a part of those. I wish more people knew that the income potential is significant.
Wow. I like
How are
this
we
one.
doing?
This is I got time for two more. This is Caden Williams. He's a senior, one of our football players, power lifters. And he asked, I'm sorry, he's a sophomore. I'd say he was a senior. He's a sophomore. I'm trying to graduate him early. But he asked, what was your main motivation to change your career? And did what you learned early in your career help you in the long run?
100%. So my main motivation was I needed to make more money, y'all. I'm telling you, things are expensive in the world. I'm sure y'all have heard this. You see your parents complaining about it. It's expensive to feed children and to pay your bills and enjoy the time when somebody else is paying your bills. Okay. But it's going to get hard. And so my main motivation was I needed to make more money. Okay. Which is kind of crazy because I had 10 years of school and a doctorate degree and still was feeling like I was broke at the end of every month. The skills that transferred the most between being a teacher and being a real estate investor, teachers have to communicate, right? So we have to talk. And I think that really helps me in my business right now because I have to talk to bankers. I have to talk to other buyers, other sellers, contractors. So you have to talk to them. The other skill that really translates from a teacher is that we have to be organized. Like we have to plan things out in advance. And that helps with projects like if you're interested in real estate investing, real estate entrepreneurship. You can sort projects a lot better. So hopefully that answers your question. And hopefully you getting buff, man. I'm trying to lift too. So hopefully you getting buff.
Yeah, we were state champions in powerlifting, so he's a good one. I got one more. This is Robert Branson. He is a senior, one of our football players here, and he asked, "Do you feel you should have gone a different route when you look at all the decisions you made in your life?"
All right. So the answer is no. But I will tell you this, everything is easy to see if you look back, right? But you don't get to see the future before you do it. What I will tell you is you have people like your teacher, I'm calling him Greg, but y'all know what y'all supposed to call him in class, okay? You have people in your life that could fast track you if you're willing to listen right now. I know when you're young, you don't want to listen because you want to make your own choices and all that. But if you listen enough, because you're still going to make your own mistakes, if you listen enough, you can skip some of the stuff we went through, the headaches and stuff like that. But I wouldn't trade any of my journey for anything because like I made the best decisions that I could at the time. Do we have regrets? Like we all have regrets. But hey, like who's to say that if you hadn't gone through that first choice you made, that you would have ever made it to the last choice? Okay. So I just say, like, what I tell my kids is listen up, right? Listen up to people around you, find mentors that you respect, work your absolute hardest as you possibly can to get good, okay? Get good at something. And then just keep your, this is not a faith thing, but just keep your mind open to the opportunities that are presented to you, right?
Absolutely.
Just keep, things will happen that you could never imagine in your life. And I'm only 38, y'all. I'm only 30. I'm not that old. I got all kind of stuff. I still have no idea what God is going to throw into my life. Okay. Or what
Awesome.
opportunities will hit me in the future.
Awesome. Well, we're almost out of time, and we thank you so much for joining us. But before we go, just one more time, a couple things. Grabthemap.com.
Yep. That's my website.
Grabthemap.com. All your information is on there, all your social medias, and some great things that you have. But before we go, why is it so important for these young people as they get ready to transfer out of high school or into college or wherever to at least have some sort of entrepreneurial skill to be successful in business?
Whew. Why is it important for them to have some sort of entrepreneurial skill to be successful in business? When I think of an entrepreneur, what I think of is someone who's creative, that looks for solutions to problems, right? And if you are that kind of person that looks for solutions to problems, you will never go hungry, right? In fact, some of the companies that we really all love, like Apple or Tesla or Nvidia or whatever, right now, they have created solutions to problems on a scale that is paying them handsomely, right? So start looking for problems, y'all. I know y'all got to go. Start looking for problems that everybody around you has. You know, whether it's their sneakers not being clean or whether it's their cars being dirty in the parking lot. Start looking for problems and then offer yourself as a solution, and you'll never go hungry.
Love
Right?
it.
Problem solvers run the world.
Love it. Well, again, we thank you so much for joining us. Dr. John Crutchfield, Tupelo, Mississippi, Grab the Map Education. We thank you so much for taking some time for us today.
Hey man, thanks for the invite, Greg. Thanks for your patience as we got set up here.
Oh, no problem at all. Enjoyed it. I'll talk to you soon, buddy.
All right, thanks. Bye.